So, for this video, you'll get to see the most realistic passive income ideas that are applicable to most people for 2023. And they've been grouped into 3 different categories of passive income. Now, just know that passive income is not about sitting on a beach and getting rich. In fact, in most cases, it can be just as much work as actually going to work. So, treat passive income as a model of income to have passive or active income. Active income simply means you show up at your work, and regardless of how hard you're working, you get paid for working 8 hours. Whereas passive income, on the other hand, is the model of income where you put in a lot of work up front, usually for nothing, and then once you've completed the project, it has the potential to earn you money for a period of time out to the future with low requirement of active work. Now, book royalties are the classic example. You write the book, you make nothing while you're putting in the hard effort with your blood, sweat, and tears to write it. But then once you finish it and release it, then it has the potential to earn you money for the rest of time, really depending on how successful that book becomes. So please remember, passive income is just a model of income. It's definitely not easy, and it's definitely not a get-rich-quick game. So what are the best strategies to generate passive income in 2023? Well, unsurprisingly, the first category is investing, and this is by far going to be the most applicable way to generate passive income, no matter whoever you are or whatever you do. The investment could be in bonds, it could be stocks, it could be property, or any fixed income investment. Now, for most people, utilizing the stock market will probably be the most applicable passive income strategy because it's quite accessible, it's generally quite liquid, and you don't need a lot of money to start. So, what do you buy? Well, you need to figure out what is best for you. However, some of the passive income structures that are out there include things like real estate investment, trusts that collect rent from a portfolio of properties. They pay out the rent as a dividend to their shareholders. You could buy bond ETF that receives bond interest payments from, say, the US government and then distributes them out to the shareholders. You could buy a dividend ETF which buys dividend-paying companies and then distributes those dividends as a dividend to you, or you could just buy a dividend-paying company by itself. There are many different options out there, but always remember these 2 rules of investing. No matter what you buy, number 1, make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, because sometimes these investment vehicles do get complex. So make sure you really do your research before buying, and definitely get help from an advisor if you need it. And then number 2 is to ask yourself, is this passive income source stable? Is it reliable? If you don't know, don't buy it. For example, say a stock has been paying an $8 dividend every single year, and they make $10 in earnings per share. Sounds great, because they're literally giving you 80% of their earnings as a dividend. Now, what if the company has a really bad year next year and their earnings drop from $10 to $5? Well, if they maintain 80 payout ratio, your dividend just went from $8 a share to $4, or probably what's more likely in that case. The company actually cancels or suspends their dividend until they've sorted out what's going on with their business, because remember, companies don't have to keep paying a dividend to common stockholders. So, if you're buying a dividend-style investment, just remember that it's not quite as simple as buying an oil company and just moving on and forgetting about it. You need to put in the hours to check whether the company is financially robust and managed well enough to continue paying you those annual dividends. And that's definitely method number 1, investing, and it's going to be the most applicable passive income source for everyone. Now, the other strategy to achieve long-term passive income is by building a social media audience. Now, this in itself is not passive at all. This requires constant active work. However, there is a lot of potential to unlock passive income sources if you've built an online community. If you have an audience, for example, you can make YouTube videos, you could write a book, you could make an online video course, you could start a podcast. It's all very doable if you have an online community. Now, all of these ideas do take a hell of a lot of work, both to start and to maintain, but they surely are income model. For example, there's a video on YouTube, How to Tie a Tie by Tie Hole. This is uploaded to YouTube 12 years ago and now has 102 million views, despite of having not many subscribers, and their last video was literally 3 years ago. Now, you must also have seen many creators releasing books in their niche. It's like everywhere. The classic example is some like cooking-related social media personality going on to release their own cookbook. Yes, obviously, it's a lot of work and they need to continue promoting it once it's out into the world, but they don't have to write the book again. Same story with online courses. Say you run a woodworking Instagram page, you can make a course detailing how to make a chest of drawers or a chair. Now, you would have to show some hard work in making the course and to actively promote it, but after that, you just earn. So, by building a social media presence, it becomes easier to make more money. So, find some sort of niche that you're really passionate about. Once you hit about maybe 50 to 100,000 followers, that's usually the inflection point where these passive income sources become very viable, and while every case is different, this will probably take you about 2 years of consistent posting to accumulate. If you're smart and you have a good social media strategy, but once you hit that inflection point, you know it's off to the races. Let's now move on to the last category of passive income, which is again very applicable to everyone, but this one is definitely the hardest of the three, and that is to build your own business and then transition yourself to a passive stakeholder. Now, obviously, social media is a business, but let's talk generally. You know you're a plumber, you start your own plumbing business, you like baking, you start a bakery, you do personal training, whatever it is. So, the idea here is that you go out on your own with whatever it is that you do, and then over time, you scale up your business to have then employees, maybe you get some admin stuff. It becomes a full proper business. And then the idea is that down the track, once the business can sustain itself, you transition yourself into a passive owner's role and can still reap some of the rewards. It's kind of like investing in a dividend stock, but you've actually taken the long way around and you've actually built the business. You're invested in yourself, and this version of passive income can take many forms. You might hire a management team to run almost everything, and maybe then you just stay up to date with what's going on and assist with the big decisions. That's one way. It's the way to remain in control, or you could simply sell a majority ownership stake in your business and become a passive shareholder under new ownership. Either way, there is risk because you're basically handing over control, but obviously that risk is less than the first scenario when you're technically still at the helm. And also in the second example, one thing that's worth considering is whether it might actually be better to sell 100% of the business. While you know for certain that is absolutely humming very nicely and is actually very valuable and you can sell it for a lot, yes, you wouldn't get passive income from it anymore, but you would ensure you get a good sale price, and it does eliminate the risk of, say, new owners coming in and the business running poorly, making your stake worth less over time, and obviously your passive income goes down as well. But overall, business ownership is definitely a way to generate passive income if you structure things well and you build a well-oiled machine. However, it's very, very hard. It's a very long process and it might not be of interest to a lot of people. Now, do let us know what you're going to be doing for your passive income. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. See you guys soon!